So welcome back. We are going to prove that if even E2 is sequence of measurable sets, then their union is also measurable. Okay,
सर
countably.
स्क्रीन दिक्कत नहीं है.
So we are going to prove that if even E2, En are measurable sets, then the countable union is also measurable. So how you can write this one? This is same as saying that countable union of measurable sets is again measurable. Fine. So let's talk about. Let's simply prove this. We want to show that this union of EI. So simply call it. You start again with let A subset of R. Okay. We want to show that this union of EI is measurable. Okay. So call it E, which is equal to union of EI. Right. Then M star of A is greater than or equal to M star of A intersection E plus. So our claim is M star of A is greater than or equal to M star of A intersection E plus M star of A intersection E complement. Okay. Now, if you see this, they need not be disjoint sets here. Even E to En, they are only given to be measurable. They need not be disjoint. But from I think in class 1, we have proved. Let me show that. So if you go to algebra and sigma algebras, here we have proved one interesting result. Here, can you see this? If it is an algebra, then given any sequence from that algebra, there exists a disjoint sequence whose union is same as this one. Can you see this statement? Given any sequence from that algebra, we can find a disjoint sequence of disjoint elements whose union AI is same as union of BI's, right? That we will use here, and we will assume that the given sequence itself, just a second, it is taking time to load. Yeah. So here, even though this sequence even E to En, suppose if they are not disjoint, then we can find another sequence, say suppose E1 prime, E2 prime, E3 prime, and so on, such that their union is same, right? Yes or no? Anyhow, we want to only show that union is measurable. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
So without loss of generality, we can assume that I will write WLOG just to it is without loss of generality. Assume this EIs are disjoint. Why? If they are not disjoint, you can replace by another sequence whose union is same as this union. Okay. So there is no problem if you assume them itself disjoint. Now let Fn, a sequence Fn, is union of Ei. I is from 1 to n. That means E1 union E2 union En. Finite n union of finitely union of this n Ei's is we are calling it as Fn. Okay. Then we proved that by that mathematical induction, if E1 E2 En they are measurable, then union of those E1 E2 En is also measurable, right? So that shows that then this Fn is, this set is measurable for every n greater than 1. So we got Fn's which are measurable, and somehow we want to relate this E and Fn's. Okay. Therefore, what you will get? So therefore, what can you say about m star of A for this Fn? m star of A is greater than or equal to m star of A intersection Fn plus m star of
plus
A intersection Fn comp.
Fn complement.
Fn comp.
Okay. Now, what is this A intersection Fn and A intersection Fn complement? We will see, and somehow we should get E here, right? Okay. So this is same as m star of A intersection union of ei, I is equal to 1 to n, plus m star of A intersection Fn complement. We don't require at present. We don't need to simplify that, right? Now, just now what result we have proved? What is the value of this one? What is the value of this? Because our EIs are disjoint, so m star of A intersection union of EIs is same as what? Summation
A intersection.
summation m star of A intersection
A intersection.
I is
Yeah.
equal to
Yeah.
1 to n. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Plus,
sir.
Yes, sir.
now if you see this, because somehow we should get E, right? This Fn is contained in E or not? Fn is finite union, E is infinite, that all union, right? Okay. So here clearly you can observe that see Fn is contained in E, so Fn complement contains E complement. So is this clear? So therefore A intersection Fn complement contains A intersection E complement. By using monotonicity property, m star of A intersection Fn complement is greater than or equal to m star of A intersection E complement. Is this clear? So this m star of Fn complement can be replaced by greater than or equal to plus m star of A intersection E complement. Is this clear? Yes or no? So this is true. Therefore, what we have proved is that m star of A is greater than or equal to this. It is true for every n, right? This is true for every n. This implies by taking limit, this is also greater than or equal to. So suppose taking limit n tending to infinity, summation I is equal to 1 to n m star of A intersection ei plus m star of A intersection E complement, right? But this is same as, it is simply the series 1 to infinity m star of A intersection ei plus m star of A intersection E complement. Okay. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now again using the subadditive property, this is greater than or equal to what? Because sum we have to bring it to union, right? The summation and union, how it is related? This is same as m. This is of course bigger than m star of union of A intersection ei.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now this again using distributive property, this is same as what? A intersection with union of ei's. This is same as m star of A intersected with
Intersection.
union of
Yeah.
ei's. Distributive property, right? But what is union of ei? We have denoted that as A, right? So we proved that m star of A is greater than or equal to m star of A intersection E and A intersection E complement, right? That shows that this implies E, which is equal to union of ei's, is measurable. Any problem? Is proof clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that shows that countable union of measurable sets is countable. Okay. So if you
Measurable.
combine all the results, what we have shown here is, you can call it as a remark or the result which we have proved. Based on that, this M is sigma algebra, right? M is sigma algebra or not? M is collection of measurable sets. We have shown
Union.
that it is a sigma algebra. Why? Huh? Because it is closed under complementation and
Union.
countable union, right?
Union.
Okay, this whatever we have proved, from that we can conclude that. So I can write here instead of result, I can write here we can conclude. Okay, so we can conclude that this M is a sigma algebra. Okay, now we will prove that there is a one strong statement. We will show that any open set, any closed set, or even a Borel set, they are all measurable sets. Okay, so first we show interval a comma infinity is measurable. Once we show that, then remaining all will follow from that using this M is an algebra. So theorem is, for any a belongs to R, the interval a to infinity, open a, so it's called open ray, right, is measurable. So we show that this a comma infinity is measurable. After that, any open interval is measurable, and so on. First interesting thing is, we'll show this one is measurable. Remaining all follows from here. Okay. So proof. Let a subset of R. Okay. Now this small a, what we are taking here, we'll assume that. So without loss of generality, assume a is not in this set A. Okay. That means a does not contain this given, because if at all a is there, okay, then remove that set from that set. So I'll write here why we can assume that, since if at all a belongs to A, then consider a minus a, this set, then this does not contain, whether this set contains small a, then a does not belongs to a minus a. Is this clear? Yes or no? Hmm? Yes or no? If you have, suppose an element is there, what is this? You simply remove that element from that given set. A minus a. Other than a, you are taking remaining all elements. Hmm? Is this?
Other than it.
Huh? Is this
Yes,
notation?
sir.
Whether you know this notation a minus b? Because of sets, we don't usually write like this. We write this slant notation, right? Huh? Any problem?
No, sir.
Okay. So simply remove from that, then a won't be there here. And you can
No,
observe
sir.
that m star of this set A is same as m star of A minus A. Okay, so outer measure is same even after removing that. Okay, so measurability is not going to change. Let me repeat again this statement. Without loss of generality, we can assume that A is not here, because if A is here, then you consider another set, namely A minus that element. Then clearly A is not there in that set, and m star of A is same as m star of A minus A. So instead of taking this A, you take A minus A. Okay. So A minus A is not there and measure is same. So you can take that set itself as A minus, instead of taking A minus A, simply consider A. Any problem? Now tell me why this is true. Why this is true? M star of A is same as M star of A minus A. Hmm? If you see today we proved one result. If m star of A is 0, then m star of A union B is equal to m star of B only, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So from that it follows. You see here, where is that? Before this, right? Outer measure, before this. First result which we have started today is this. If m star of A is 0, then m star of A union B is same as m star of B. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Or I can also say that m star of C is same as m star of C minus A if m star of A is 0. What is m star of a singleton set? What is outer measure of singleton? Huh?
0.
0. Very good. So because outer measure of a singleton is 0, whether it is there from that set or remove that set, outer measure is same. Hmm? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
This one note has become little slow. Just a second. So now whether you understood, given a set A and given this element small a, we can assume that A is not in A. Otherwise, you simply take A prime another set as A minus A. Okay, then A is not here. Okay, then A is not in A prime, and not only that, m star of A prime is same as m star of A. So outer measure of A and A prime both are same. Okay, and A prime is not containing that element small a, right? So we are not losing any information if we assume that A is not in A. Okay, is that clear? Now we want to show that this A comma infinity is measurable. Okay, so our claim is m star of for this set A is greater than or equal to m star of A intersection this A comma infinity plus m star of A intersection its complement. What is its complement? What is complement of A comma infinity? Is minus infinity to closed A, right? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
But A is not in capital A, because A is not in capital A, therefore this intersection is actually same as, this claim is proving same as, because it is intersection of A and elements of this one, right? Elements of this and elements of A which are common, but A is not here, so this is same as minus infinity to open A. Is this clear? Yes or no? From closed A we have come to open A because A is not in capital A, so therefore that A is not in the intersection. Are you following? Hmm?
Yes, sir.
So it is enough if we show that m star of A is greater than or equal to m star of A intersection this. So call it, so let A1, which is A intersection A comma infinity, and A2 as A intersection minus infinity to A. So we want to somehow show that m star of A is greater than or equal to m star of A1 plus m star of A2, right? Fine. Now we will take a cover for, so right, let this in, okay, be an open cover for A, that is A is containing union of in. Then can you get an open cover for A1 and A2? Because A1 is A intersection A comma infinity, right? Then A intersection A comma infinity is contained in this union of in intersection with A comma infinity, right? If A is contained here, then intersection is contained in this. Okay, but this is same as by distributive property. This is same as what? Union of in intersection with A comma infinity,
A. Infinity.
right? Similarly, what is this? A intersection minus infinity to A.
A.
this is contained in, okay, union of n is equal to 1 to infinity, this in intersection minus infinity to, right?
A.
Okay, so this a intersection infinity is nothing but a1, and a intersection in minus infinity to a is nothing but a2. So we got a cover. So like let in prime is in intersection, sorry, this is intersection, in consider this as a to infinity, and in double prime as in intersection minus infinity to a. So then what we have observed is that a1 is contained in union of in primes, okay, and a2, I think screen is closed, right? Okay, so with this notation, a1 is contained in union of in primes, right, and a2 is contained in union of this in double primes. Okay, so we got a cover for a1 as well as a2. So we got a cover for a1 and a2, right? This implies, what can you say about m star of a1? By definition of outer measure, whenever we have a cover, then m star of a is less than or equal to sum of lengths of those things, right?
Length of time.
And m star of a2 is less than or equal to summation L of in double prime, this one. Any problem? Hello? Any problem? Right? This implies m star of a1 plus m star of a2 is less than or equal to summation n is equal to 1 to infinity L of in prime plus n is equal to 1
Summation.
to infinity L of in double prime.
Yes. Double.
Okay, clear? But this is same as
Yes.
summation length of
I prime
this L of in prime plus
plus IN's double.
so you can check that this is same as length of in. Why? Length of in n is equal to 1 to infinity. What is the reason? Since your in, you go here, your in can be written as the intersection of, if you take in union in prime, in union in prime, then it is nothing but in. Okay, in is in prime union with in double prime. So length of in, and they are disjoint, they don't have any elements in common, they are disjoint. Okay, so therefore it is same as length of in prime plus length of in double prime. Okay, so this implies summation length of in is summation length of in prime plus summation length of in double prime. Okay, so that is the reason. So what we have proved is that this m star of a1 plus m star of a2, okay, is always less than or equal to, so what we have proved is that m star of a1 plus m star of a2 is always less than or equal to this summation length of in from 1 to infinity, whenever, this is important because we started with what, we started with in be an open cover for a. So whenever a is covered by union of in, we got this. So if you take infimum, so this is also less than or equal to infimum of summation L of in, right? Yes or no? Whenever a is covered by union of such covers, but this is nothing but what, this is nothing but m star of a. By definition of outer measure, it is equal to m star of a. So therefore we proved that m star of a is greater than or equal to m star of a1 plus m star of a2. So if you substitute a1 and a2, they are simply this one, and that is what we want to prove our claim, right? That shows that a comma infinity is measurable, right? So that is a comma infinity actually belongs to this algebra, sigma algebra M. Is proof clear? Hmm? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Now, as a corollary, we can prove that any interval, okay, is actually measurable. You can call it, if necessary, open interval. Any open interval is measurable. Why? So we want to, we already know that this is proof. We already know that this, for any a comma infinity belongs to this measurable, right? This implies for every a belongs to R. Okay. Our idea is we are trying to show that a comma b, open interval a comma b is measurable. Okay. Then if you want one left, one side closed open also, we can prove it. So first we will try to prove that a comma b. So we will prove this a comma b belongs to this script m for any a comma b, right? But we know that a comma infinity and b comma infinity, they are all here, right? Yes or no? Huh? So a comma infinity is there. Similarly, b comma infinity is also there. But what we want a comma b. So using this, or using complements and using the fact that m is sigma algebra, can we do something from here? Because we don't want b to infinity. What we want is, if we have something like this, then we can take intersection, right? So minus infinity to b, closed b. This is here because of complementation. Are you following? Hmm? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
we have a to infinity, then so all these things are there. Then we also have minus infinity to b. So I'll write in this way, this one. So what is the intersection? So this implies, again, if you take intersection a comma infinity intersected with minus b to this also belongs to m. But what is the intersection of these two? Open a and, is it open b or
Close B.
closed b? Closed b. Is this clear? So this belongs to m. But we want to show that open interval a comma b belongs to m. So this shows that for every a comma b belongs to R, such type of intervals belongs to m, right? So in particular for any n greater than or equal to 1, this a b minus 1 by n, closed b minus 1 by n, they also belongs to m. Yes or no? Just now what we have proved, for any b real number, it is there. So b minus 1, b minus 1 by 2, b minus 1 by 3, if you take, this also belongs to m. Okay. Now using the fact that our M is a sigma algebra, tell me whether we have to take union or intersection so that you get open interval a comma b. First time is what? A comma b minus 1, right? So suppose this is b minus 1. Then what is next one? A comma b minus half. Next one, b minus 1 by 3 and so on. See, somewhere is b here. Suppose this is b. Where will be b? Huh? From b, sorry, this is not b here. This is, where will be b? Because b will be this side, right? Hmm? So we don't want b. So how we do that? Hmm? I have marked it wrong, right? B minus half and B minus 1. Which is smaller? This is wrong. Huh? So let me draw the picture again. Suppose this is B. Where will be B minus 1? This will be something like B minus 1. Then B minus half. Is this clear? B minus half and B minus 1, which is close to B, this one. Similarly, B minus 1 by 3 and so on, it will be there. Now, if I take the union of all these intervals, they are close to very open interval A comma B or not? Are you following? Let me repeat again.
Sir.
So, A first time when n is 1, A comma B minus 1. That is this much. Okay. Then next time is A comma B minus half. So this union is B minus half. Similarly, next if you take, it will be there. So when you are started taking union, that union is going very close to A comma B, right? In this interval, whether B will be there, B is not at all there because you are removing some positive value from B. Is this clear? So union of
Yes, sir.
A comma B minus 1 by n is equal to 1 to infinity. This also belongs to M because M is a sigma algebra. But this value is what? Can somebody tell what is this value? A comma open B. Huh? Because whether B will be there in all these elements, whether B is there, B cannot be there. Remaining all elements will be there from A to B, right? Since B minus 1, B minus 1 by n, anything you take. So reason is B is not there in A comma B minus 1 by n. Even though it is closed interval, but B won't be there at all. Remaining all elements will be there as n tending to infinity. Is this clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So that shows that this open interval A comma B belongs to M. Right? Now, how can you show that here one side left open and right side closed is there? How can you prove that left side open and right side left side closed and right side open? How we can prove? So I'll just write it here as an exercise. Simply show that this A comma B, okay, and this open A closed B anyhow we have proved here, right? And closed A closed B, they also belongs to here. Okay, just use this 1 by n concept, plus or minus, you do it and you see here. Now this open A comma B belongs to M, right? This open interval A comma B belongs to M or not? Now
Yes, sir.
using these intervals, we want left side, that means A should be involved. So if A should be there, what type of interval we have to take here? Such type of intervals? What should be hint? How you can write this A comma B as A plus 1 by n or A minus 1 by n? What we have to use? See, you have A comma B here, open interval. Somehow you have to include A will be there. A should be there. So you should go left side this one or not? If I say, suppose if I take something like this, then A will be there. Are you following? Right? So A minus
Yes, sir.
1 by n I should take. So this is like A minus 1. Then this is A minus half and so on. So whether you have to take now union or intersection? Union whether you have to take or intersection, so that you will get closed interval A and open B. Obviously if you take union, A minus 1 comma B you will get, right? But we don't want a minus 1 comma b. We want a comma b. So take the intersection. That means first time is this much. Okay. Next time intersection of these two is this. Next time is this. Next time. So you get, when you take intersection, you get close to a comma b. And because it is a minus something, a will be always there. Is this clear? You think this one, whether it is you understood or not, try to draw a picture and understand. Okay. So what we have proved is that any open interval is measurable. Are you following? Right. Now you can show that the last thing.
Yes, sir.
So as a corollary, you can show that any open set or any closed set, okay, or any Borel set is measurable. Okay. So what is the proof? We have proved that any open interval is measurable. From that, can you say why open set is measurable? Huh?
Yes.
Any open interval we proved is, in particular a comma b, is measurable, we have proved. Then how any open set is measurable? Huh? Because any open set U. So if U is open, then U we can write as what? How we can write any open set? Disjoint union of open intervals, countable union. Is this clear? So therefore this also belongs to M. Yes or no? In a real analysis, we proved that first semester any open set can be written as disjoint union of countable many open intervals of this form. Remember? Right? Say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Now using this, how, why any closed set is measurable? If suppose F is closed, then F complement is open, right? F complement is
Yes, sir.
open, so implies F complement belongs to M. That means F also belongs to M. So F is also measurable,
Major.
right? Now what is a Borel set? The Borel sigma field. So Borel sigma algebra is the smallest sigma algebra containing open sets, right? We have proved, we have defined this one, containing, you can say, all open intervals or all open sets. Okay. And this M also contains this all open sets. M contains open sets or not? So M is an also M is an algebra, sigma algebra containing all open sets, right? So therefore, what is relation between this Borel sigma algebra? So you can write this script B. So what is relation between this script B and M? Because script B is the smallest one, so script B should be contained in M. Is this clear? That shows that every Borel set is a member here is measurable. Okay. We also shown that F delta, that G delta, so in particular that G delta and F sigma. So F sigma, G delta are also measurable. So many sets, whatever we have seen so far, they are all measurable sets. So measurable sets collection is a huge collection. Any problem? Any problem up to
No,
here?
sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Is it clear? By using the fact that this M is a sigma algebra and using that such type of open intervals are there, we have proved that any open interval is there, then open set is there, closed set is there. So Borel sigma field is there. Therefore, any Borel set is also there. And not only that, F sigma G delta, they are also measurable. Right? So we'll stop here. In next class, we'll see what is meant by concept of measurable function. So far we have seen what is meant by measurable set. In next class, we'll see what is meant by a measurable function. Okay.